Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry. My first job in college was at a shelter for battered women and rape victims. It's called Hubbard House, and it was the first in the nation to have its address published. It was a known location, so women could find it. Most were hidden and out of place, so that people could be safe. We kept people safe there, but because we were known, we had more encounters with abusers at the site. My role, first as an intern and then working there and then doing research there and then at the city's agency for victimization, my role was to go to court with women to represent the shelter and say, yes, they're staying here. So in custody situations where people wanted to get their children or fight for custody, if they were staying at the shelter, we were intervening and acting as a representative for that woman and her children. The second job I had to do was to go to the home with women to pick up their items. Now, this was always a dangerous encounter. And for me, it was always an encounter of some form of racism. The police were there, but they were relegated to so many feet away, and they could only intervene if there was physical violence. This was always fascinating to me because at one point, one of the high ups in the police department, his wife was also at the shelter. Every one of those encounters for me ended up in being called a nigger, being spat on, being someone walking like up on you and just this in your ear with every racial everything they could imagine. Why am I talking about this? Because racism exists in our system, it's in our water, it happens and is maintained through our agencies of socialization, the military, the government, the media, sports, education, religion, all of those agencies of socialization, business that are supposed to teach us the truth, maintain the status quo, whatever that is. But it also happens at a micro level. And I know we like to talk a lot about privilege lately because you went to that weekend workshop. But when Linsky wrote his book in 1966 on privilege, it was about power and privilege. And you didn't look at one without the other. It's really important that you look at one with the other. The people who have the power will give a false sense of privilege to others so that they can maintain the power. And while we're down here fighting over whatever, we never look at that 1%. But that's another story for another day. During this time, I would be followed home. I rode the bus. I didn't have a car. Fortunately, we had a Vietnam vet who worked at our gate. When I would go in, walk in, because I had to walk from the bus to our campus, and he would protect me and watch out for me, and I could let him know on days that I was going and coming back. And so he'd be there watching, waiting for an opportunity. Thank God he never got it. But I knew then that very often bullies in the family feel so insecure about their power and their ability to control that they look for someone else to be less than them. Women, black people, gay people, anybody to be less than them. Why? Because if you haven't done what's necessary to make you be who you are and to love who you truly are, the freedom of others becomes some kind of thing against you. Because it forces you to look at yourself. It forces you to say, why am I not being and doing what I'm supposed to be and do? So that bully in the family looks around to say, I'm going to make you less than me. And if somebody rises up that they've been told is supposed to be less than them, how dare you? They don't think in terms of there's enough for everyone. They think in terms of you took mine. Because if I'm not who I'm supposed to be, it was because you took it from me. So that bully not only bashes and beats their own family, they look for ways to encourage their family to participate in the beating and bashing of someone else. It's no wonder that when lynchings happen, people packed picnic lunches and took their children because they were indoctrinating the next generation to believe the same way they did. And now this bullying happens in words, in ways, but it's the same thing. I didn't get to be what I wanted to be. How dare you be who you want to be? It's time we leave the bully. I love you.